Good afternoon, good day, good morning, good evening. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Well, welcome everybody, wherever you are in the world. I'm so glad y'all are here. Man, it's been a while since I've taught. Y'all know, some of y'all know I've been just kind of going through with the dialysis and the kidney thing, but God is good. Everything is working out well, and I'm just so glad to be here with y'all. We're in the middle of grant season, and so there's a whole lot that I want to share with you. And so people are coming from all different parts of the world. If you would just go ahead and type in where you're coming from, and that'll help us move you along. All right, all right. Let's see. Right, Tennessee. Hey, Megan, I'm feeling good. I feel energetic. I had to lay down for a little bit today. You all that have been through this process, y'all know how it kind of saps your energy, and it does so unexpectedly. But I'm doing good. All right, Beaumont, Texas. Is Beaumont near Austin, Texas? I was looking at something for Austin today. All right, California, Florida, Ohio. All right, Jamaica. Great evening, Florida, Missouri, Indianapolis. Right, Texas, Florida. Hey, yeah, there's my angel, Lynn Michael. All right. Who else? Dallas, Texas. All right. Idea Johnson. All right. Augusta, Georgia. Michigan, Greenville, Mississippi. I actually have been to Greenville, Mississippi before. Can you come get my glasses, please? Lord. I've been to Greenville, Mississippi before. Hold on a minute. All right. My glasses were dirty. And so yeah, I couldn't see. All right, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I know I saw Richmond, Virginia. All right, yeah, that's Reverend Pastor Wade, Baltimore, Houston. I know. I had to speak for a church down there in Greenville, Mississippi, and we drove from Atlanta to Greenville, and I was so shocked. But yeah, we went there. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. All right, y'all. We have a lot of ground to cover, and I got to make a quick confession, y'all. So, whenever I teach, because I've been doing this for so long, there's so much that we can teach. Um, and so I had to ask Mark, what was it that I promised to go over? Because I had something else that I wanted to teach y'all. So if it's okay with y'all, I'm going to teach you what it was that I said online, but I'm also going to teach you the other stuff that I had in mind. Is that okay with y'all? Let me see. So y'all make sure you go ahead and take out your notebooks, notepads, and all of that stuff, whatever it is that you take notes with. Um, Information by itself is pointless and it means nothing. But information, once you apply it, then it becomes useful to you. And so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Jay Hackett. That's not so important. The most important part about it is that I've been in the grant world for about 21 years. My grant total so far is $58 million. And we are expecting another between 3 and 5 million in the next few weeks, the next 8 weeks. One of my students, I think he did like 3.7 million with one of the classes that I taught. And he took that same strategy and applied for a grant that's $62 million. But if you're not interested in going after such large sums of money, he did that in response to the wildfires in Hawaii. He got together a whole bunch of different nonprofits. He pulled them together and started raising money for all of them. But if you're not interested in such huge amounts of money, you have something for your neighborhood, then you can get grants that are as low as $250, $500. If you are part of a church or a faith community, you can actually, I'll show you how to separate your religious activity from your community activity so that your community activity can be funded by grants and you don't have to worry about it having to come from tithe and offering. And so I'm going to separate those things for you. But most important tonight, you have to know where you are. If your timing is wrong, you can be doing the right thing and still be out of order. If your timing is wrong, you can be doing the right thing and still miss it. So I want to make sure that your timing is right. All right. So there's some things that I'm going to give you all tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. I tend to talk fast, but that's okay. Everybody is still going to learn everything. Everybody is going to learn everything. Everybody is going to learn everything. What is everybody going to learn? Everything. All right. So let's start with the grants calendar. The grants calendar. This is something that we have it in our school community. Anybody that's not already in the community, you can definitely join. You need to join. It comes up to like $1.50 a day or something like that. Come on in and get all your questions answered. You have access to all the recordings, et cetera, et cetera. But let me go through the grants calendar. If you're ready, say I'm ready. All right. The grants calendar. This is how the grant cycles are broken down throughout the year. This is how grant cycle is broken down throughout the year. In January, you want to work on your pledges. This is where people pledge to give you money, small amounts. Some people do $10 a month, $20 a month. People are making pledges to give to you throughout the year. So in January, you want to focus on pledges. In February, that's when banks open up their portals. So in February, you want to be ready for bank grants. In March and April, that's what we call grant season because that's when foundation grants come available. And then you want to look at May. During the month of May, lots of state grants become available. And then during the month of June, you'll notice federal grants. Now, if you look at grants.gov, you'll see federal grants available all year round. But what's happening during the month of June, the budgets have just been approved and they're announcing a lot of federal grants during the end of May, beginning of June. Those grants become due normally in 45 to 60 days, which gives you like a July deadline. And so that's the month of June. You have to really, really be intentional with June and July because June, you'll see the federal grants be announced. During the month of July, if you haven't already, you need to be having your board meeting. During your board meeting, you want to make sure that you take attendance, make sure that you have minutes, and make sure that you approve your budget for the year. That's during the month of July. Then during the month of August, if you are in a city that is 200,000 people or more, then in the month of August, your community development offices are going to be announcing their grants in the month of August. If you're in a city that is less than 200,000 people, you want to contact your community development office because you can get a jump start on what they're going to be announcing later on that year. They won't be announcing theirs until about December. But during the month of August, if you're in a city like Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, make sure that you are aware and connected because in the month of August, the community development grants are coming out in their community development, community development and economic development offices. Then during the month of September, that's when local nonprofits give away money. That's United Way, American Red Cross, 4-H, Rotary Club, et cetera, et cetera. Those smaller nonprofits are giving away grants somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. And I'll tell you later on why they give out money during that month, during the month of September. Then during the month of October, banks are getting ready to close their fiscal year. And so they're going to spend whatever leftover money they have for sponsorships. And so you want to be ready for that. So be building your relationships all throughout the year because during the month of October, the banks are going to be spending down their final money for sponsorships. During the month of November, you want to be prepared for Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. It's always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. That's a time where the whole philanthropic community is motivated to give. They're challenging people to give. Lots of people are matching gifts, etc. And you want to make sure that you have your hat in the ring and that you're ready during Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. And then that takes you to December. And December is when you do annual giving or major gifts. This is when people give because it's the holidays. People give because they want a tax write-off. People give charitable purposes because they are warm-hearted at the end of the year. They've looked at their budget or whatever the case may be, and they're deciding that now is a good time for them to give. All right, I'll go through it again just for those in the back. January, pledges. February, banks. March and April, foundations. May, state grants. June, federal grants. July, board meeting. August, cities that are 200,000 or more, community development grants. And then September, small organizations, small nonprofit, local grants. October, sponsorships. And when you look at sponsorships, do not only look for the year that you're in, look at the sponsorships for the upcoming year. Have your plan for the next year of what you're going to need and be ready to send out your sponsorship letter. All right. Then November, you have Giving Tuesday. And then December, you have major gifts and annual giving. All right. I'm going to do it again. This time a little faster. January, pledges. February, bank grants. March and April, foundations. May, state grants. June, federal grants. July, board meeting. August, cities that are 200,000 or more, community development grants. September, small local nonprofit grants. October, bank sponsorships. Sponsorships, not only banks, but sponsorships in general for this year and for the upcoming year. And then November, Giving Tuesday. December is annual giving. So I told you all that if you're in a city that's 200,000 or more, they're announcing their community development grants in August. But if you're in a city that is less than 200,000, they're going to be announcing their community development grants in December. They're going to be sending out emails in November and December, especially because they're going to be opening their applications in January. Grants might come from your city. Grants might come from your county. All right. No matter where you are in the country, there are grants available to you. And there are 6 types of grants. Actually, let me go over the 4 sources of grants. I'll tell you the 4 sources of grants. There are 4 sources of grants. 4 sources of grants. How many sources are there? Somebody type, how many sources are there? 4. That's exactly right. All right. So let's go. One source for grants are government grants. Government grants are grants that come from your city or your county or your state or federal. All of those are called government grants because they come from governmental entities. All right. From your city, from your county, from your state, or from federal. All of those are considered government grants. Then you have foundation grants. Actually, don't go over foundation grants now. I'll go over corporate grants. Corporate grants are grants that come from for-profit companies. All right. Corporate grants are grants that come from for-profit companies, companies like Best Buy, Walmart, Target, TJ Maxx, et cetera, et cetera. Those are considered corporate grants. Okay. Then you have foundation grants. Foundation grants are actually the largest category of grants. 65% of all grants come from foundations. Foundations give out the majority of grants, and those are community foundations, private foundations, public foundations. Every community in this country has foundations. And if you wanted to know where your local foundation is, you would actually just type in the name of your city or the name of your county and put the word foundations after it. All right. So these are the 3 sources. And then there are individuals that give out grants, but they're not technically grants. They're just considered donations. So we don't talk very much about individual grants. But let's go over a recap real quick. Government grants, that's from your city, your county, your state, federal. Then you have corporate grants. That's coming from for-profit companies like retail stores, furniture stores, pet stores, et cetera, et cetera. Lowe's, Home Depot, all of those. Then you have, those are all corporate grants. Somebody type corporate grants. Corporate. corporate, corporate, corporate. Okay. All right. And then you have foundations. Foundations. Now, and then of course you have individuals, but we're not going to talk much about individual grants because those are very rare, and those are really just considered donations. All right. So I was working for an organization. I was working for this organization that was a great, wonderful organization. I was actually in a work release program, having just got out of prison. So it was my last 6 months of prison, and they had already heard about how I contributed to communities and things like that. And so they hired me to work for this organization called Green Opportunities. And when they hired me to work, I was hired as the program director. And when they hired me as the program director, I learned that it was an amazing program. We were helping people get jobs who were in housing authority, people were homeless, people had charges, people were being referred from court, and it was our job to help them get jobs. Like our mission was to teach, train, and empower people. I mean, teach, train, and support people from low income marginalized communities and place them in sustainable employment. And so we were helping people get jobs, helping people get jobs. We had a community kitchen downstairs. We had connections with therapists and counseling agencies. We have partnerships with an organization that would donate cars to people who graduate from our program. At any given moment, and we had about 3 graduations per year, we had anywhere from 75 to 100 people graduating in our program. And people were getting jobs left and right. We helped build the hospital, help fix streets, help beautify the neighborhood, built the community garden. I mean, it was just an amazing program, and it was 100% grant funded. Of course, one of my former employees is here. She became one of my bestest friends. I call her my angel. That's Lynn Michael down there. And she had already had her master's of social work when I met her. No, you did your master's you did your master's while we were together at Tennessee, didn't you? Yeah, I was there for the whole thing. And then she started working for me, and she got her L, her license. So she became a licensed clinical social worker, and she was working with us. And even though it wasn't a whole bunch of money, it was a solid paycheck. It was a fair paycheck. And I think it was maybe 10 cents more than what she was making at her previous place. But it was all grant funded. And anyway, so this program was amazing. No, none of the clients had to pay anything. Everybody just came, got what they needed. We fed everybody every day. We had a culinary program, construction program, and what we call a ready to work program. We turned the culinary program into a catering company, the ready to work program into a staffing agency, construction program became a handyman company. I mean, it was just amazing things that we could do together. And then they promoted me to executive director. Now, the thing is, they hired me while I was on work release. And I was thinking that it would work against me because I am right now an inmate. Like I had to get permission to leave the jail and go to work every day. But they were like, we don't care what your background is. In fact, you are one of the best people to help our program because of your lived experience. So there I was sitting in the office with this amazing program, only come to find out we were out of money. 15 employees, 13,000 square foot building, out of money. Anybody in here ever had a big dream and it was working, seemed like it was going good, and then you realize you were out of money? Had that ever happened to anybody? I'm like, yeah, we can change the world. Like, come on, we can change the world. And then we just out of money. But what happened was they promoted me to executive director. What's the problem with that picture? I just said we were what? Y'all can go ahead and type it. Yep. They gave me a promotion. They gave me a promotion, and I know they was broke. They know we were broke. They know the board knew we were broke. I knew that we were broke. They knew that I knew we were broke. I knew that they knew we were broke, and they still gave me a promotion and had me sign a contract with a salary of $70,000. We were broke. So I signed the contract, knowing that we were broke. Everybody knew we were broke. And here we were acting like this money was just going to be there. But something amazing happened. Something amazing happened. I'll never, ever forget this. I sat down at my desk. I accepted the offer of $70,000, knowing that we don't know what's going to happen. They didn't have the money, which meant that I needed to raise the money. And here I was as executive director on that Monday. Now I told y'all, what's the problem with this picture? That we broke. Say we broke. It's okay. It's okay. When I showed up, they were broke. When I left, they were not broke. So I showed up on that Monday. I was like, what are we doing? So I looked through the files and I saw that there was a grant that was available to us that we qualified for, but had never followed up about. There were grants that were offered, but had never been accepted. There was one grant that was awarded to us, and all we needed to do was sign the contract accepting it. I called the people and said, well, why haven't we received the money? They said, well, you all haven't signed the grant agreement, because the people that were there before me didn't understand grant agreement. Within 1 week, I accessed $300,000 for this program. Within 1 week, from city grants, that's Community Development Block Grants, CDBG, from foundation grants, from county grants, even from bank grants. Wells Fargo gave $25,000 to this organization. Money that was just sitting there had not been accessed, including a federal grant. And people didn't even know it. In 1 week, we raised $300,000. 1 week, $300,000. Somebody type 300,000. Matter of fact, some of y'all might need to get accustomed to practicing saying that. Say 300,000. Say, I've just received $300,000 in grants. I have been awarded 300,000. Go ahead, practice saying it. I've been awarded 300,000. I've been awarded. Well, if you don't, at least say 300. If you can't accept 300,000, can you accept $300? Can you accept $3,000? you got to get used to saying, because a grant is actually just a proposal. All you're doing is making a request. You're requesting a certain amount of money for a certain thing. All right. So now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is a grant? A grant is money that is given to you for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back. A grant is money given to you for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back. A grant is money given to you for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back. A grant is money given to you for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back. Say it with me. A grant is money given to you for a community for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back. With me. A grant is money given to you for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back. Are y'all saying it with me? A grant is money given to you for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back. Again, a grant is money given to you for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back. Somebody type in the chat, what is a grant? I told y'all, everybody is going to learn everything. Everything. Everybody is going to learn everything. A grant is money given to you for a community event that you don't have to pay back. If you have to pay it back, it's not a grant, it's a loan. If it is for your personal benefit, it is not, grants are not for your personal benefit. It is for a community benefit. A grant is money given to you. It is not loaned to you or sold to you. It is given to you. So you don't have to pay for a grant, okay? A grant is money given to you for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back. So when you are answering questions, when you're filling out a grant proposal, what you want to communicate is the community benefit. That's what you have to think about. What is the community benefit? What is the community benefit? What is a community benefit? And in order to demonstrate a strong community benefit, the strongest community benefit that you can demonstrate comes directly from a document, one out of two documents that is available in your city, in your county, right where you are right now. In your city, that document is called the consolidated plan. If you are looking it up online, you would go to Google and type the name of your city, consolidated plan. All right. And it's going to give you some, it's a very long document. It can be 100, 400 pages long. But that's the document. All right. You want to scroll down and you're going to look for a specific section that talks about the priorities. You might see it in the overview or the table. Okay. The next document that you want to access is your county strategic plan. And your county strategic plan, you want to look at it and look at the county's goals and objectives. When they show you their goals and objectives, it also is going to tell you what types of things they want to give money for. So when you think about the community benefit, all you have to do is look at the county's goals and objectives and think to yourself, what can I do to help solve their problem? What can I do to help solve their problem? What can I do to help solve their problem? I have a foster care program. What can I do to solve their problem? I want to beautify the neighborhood. What can I do to solve their problem? I know how to repair people's credit. What can I do to solve their problem? That's what you always want to think. All right. All right. Now let's go on just a bit. So when you're looking at your year to come, you're looking at your year to come, and you're thinking about the opportunities that you saw when you looked on the county page or the city page. Is this too much, y'all? Let me just check and make sure. Are y'all okay? Y'all good? Y'all good. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. I don't, I thought I had a Q and A section here, but I don't. But I'll take I won't take questions just yet. Write down your questions so I don't miss them, but I will take some questions, okay? I will take some questions. All right. So when you're looking at your city or your county plan, and sometimes people look at what they are doing and then they go to the city plan. That sounds okay, but want you to challenge, I want to challenge you to do something a little differently. Look at the plan, look at the problems that the city has, and then think about what you can do to solve that problem. Because if you think about what you do first, then you're going to try to squeeze it into your box. I don't want you to do that. Think about what their problem is, and it will allow you to be more creative. For example, the city might have an affordable housing problem, an affordable housing problem. If the city has an affordable housing problem and you have a youth program, you want to ask yourself, what can I do to help solve the city's problem? What can I do to help solve the city's problem? Well, if I have a youth program, what are some things that I can do to help solve the city's problem? You can go ahead and type it. If I have a youth program, what can I do to help solve an affordable housing problem? Well, I'll tell you what I can do. I can do a youth program where my youth are repairing and rebuilding torn down houses. All right. While they're repairing and rebuilding the houses, they're learning crafts and skills. They're learning how to be carpenters and plumbers and electricians. They're connecting with the community college. They're getting their certifications. They're getting their GED along the way. They are occupied. They're not out in the streets getting in trouble. And so then I designed a youth program that's going to work on houses, and that's how my youth program helps solve the city's problem of affordable housing. All right. These are the things that you can do. Community gardens, learning programs, picking up trash around the area. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And you can do this with anything. If you have a financial literacy program, if you're skilled in credit repair and you want to use your brain with credit repair in the nonprofit world, we don't call it credit repair. We call it credit counseling. So you take your brain in credit repair and you apply it to credit counseling. This is showing people how to repair their own credit and how to stay out of credit trouble in the first place. All of it is the same. It's just repackaged. Okay. And so what you end up doing, how can this help with affordable housing? Well, you can do a credit counseling program that prepares people with bad credit to purchase their first house. So now you are targeting people that might live in housing authority or might live in the homeless shelter, and you're going to show them credit repair. You're going to show them how to repair their credit. You're going to counsel them on their credit issues and financial literacy and walk them all the way through the process so that they can begin to qualify for their own house. All right. So you're not a general contractor. You're not a realtor. You're not in the construction industry. You're not in the housing industry. But the thing you're doing is absolutely helping affordable housing. All right. And these are just some examples, some things that you can do. You want to ask yourself, what can I do to help solve that problem? Okay. Sometimes people find it difficult to match their thing with a city's problem. And I found that you will be more successful and you can be more creative if you think, what is their problem? What can I do to help them solve that problem? All right. Now, so when you form your nonprofit, if you're at the very beginning stages of forming your nonprofit, you need a mission statement. Okay. When you set it up with the state, they're going to ask you your charitable purpose. That's your first pass at it, your first whack, your first try to write your mission statement. Then you're going to have your board meeting, and you really want to hone in on your mission statement. Ideally, your mission statement needs to be 15 words or less. 15 words or less. And your mission statement needs to be memorable. All right. It needs to be talkable, like speakable. Okay. I'll use talkable. All right. And it needs to be personable. It needs to be memorable, needs to be talkable, and needs to be personable. So your mission statement needs to somehow it needs to somehow be a thing that people can memorize. I told you about the program that I used to run. Our mission was to teach, train, train, support, and connect. It was that organization was our mission is to train, support, and connect people from marginalized neighborhood, from marginalized communities to sustainable employment. Train, support, connect. So we had a training program, we had a support program, and we had a connection program. All right. Then what we do with the one of the organizations that I founded, and I'm the board chair of Black Wall Street. We start, grow, and expand Black businesses. So we have programs to help them get started, programs to help them grow, and programs to help them expand. I like to use commas. I always teach people to use commas because you're able to really separate out the three pillars of your program, or the three things that you do, your three focus areas. So if you were writing a mission statement right now, you want to think about what three things do you do. Now, if you want help with writing that, of course, you can use ChatGPT to make it faster. But you're going to have to start with something. You have to at least tell it what you want it to give you. So you want 3 words that describe what you do. Right now, and I know y'all came on here so I can show you how to write grants in minutes. I'm going to show you how to write it in a minute, less than a minute, actually, just a few seconds. But you're going to have to know how to at least craft how to come up with your mission statement. All right. You're going to have to know how to come up with your mission statement. Your mission statement needs to do 3 things. While you're there, go ahead and type in the chat the 3 things that you do. 3 things that you do. Don't worry about making it perfect yet. Just stay with me, because everybody is going to learn what? Oh, I don't even see nothing. Everybody is going to learn what? Everything. There you go. There you go. Everybody is going to learn everything. All right. So what I want you to type in the chat right now, I want you to type the 3 things you're going to do. And it might feel difficult. It might feel difficult, but just go ahead and spit it out there. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, because I said it's going to be okay. And then I'm going to show you what to do with what you came up with. All right. Let's see. All right. Antoinette said skill support and opportunities. That's good. That's good. Who else? Yeah, speakable, personable. Yep. Educate, support, and empower. There you go. Educate, empower, equip. Perfect. We help people understand how to develop a product or service and find their people and launch. All right. Train, support, connect. Start, grow, and expand. Oh, those are mine. All right. Tax planning, help people become homeowners. All right. So if I were working with, is that Charlicia? All right. Charlicia, all right. So her example was tax planning, help people become homeowners. Tax planning to help people become homeowners. So if we were actually, let's see, Mark, can you unmute her? Is it okay? Are you able to talk, Charlicia? All right.
All right. Yes, I'm able to talk.
Okay. All right. All right. So look, is it okay if we use your example? I can help you right now while everybody's listening.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me what it is that you do, or that
Okay.
you think you want to do.
So tax planning, to help business owners with strategies. That's one of the things that I want to do, because tax planning helps them project what they would have to pay or what they would get when tax time comes, using tax strategies, educating them on certain strategies to use so that it's not a surprise when tax season comes. Um, Helping people become homeowners. I'm a loan mortgage, I guess it's like a mortgage loan officer or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So basically, want to help 50 people become a homeowner. In our community, some people have credit challenges.
Uh-huh.
So creating a program where help them fix their credit, um, help them with budgeting, and then help them find a home that is within their budget.
All right. Okay. And are these people in low income communities or immigrant communities or?
Low income communities,
All right.
or I would say, like, I guess, middle class communities.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, and just so that you all know, whenever you're describing your community, you're going to describe it based on income. You can say low income community. You can say marginalized community. You can call it an opportunity zone. You call it a disenfranchised community. Whatever word you feel is most true and is most fair. But you also want to make sure that whatever word you use is a word that you don't mind saying. So when we were working on our mission statement, and we said train, support, and connect people from marginalized communities. Before we settle on the word marginalized, we said poor community, low income community, homeless community, unhoused, blah, blah, blah. And we were most comfortable saying marginalized. But a different group might be willing to say low income community, or a gentrified community. All of those are good descriptions. It's just based on what you want to say. So if I was looking at this, at this program and this mission statement, I would say our mission is to provide financial literacy in our city's most marginalized community.
Mm-hmm.
Let me write down. To provide sorry, I said provide financial literacy, but I would rather say provide coaching, support, and connection. No, provide coaching. That's what I wouldn't say connection. Provide.
How about stability?
I wouldn't provide stability. It has to be something that you can that you can do. So you provide the coaching, you provide the support, or somebody in your organization. Actually, I'll do it. Provide financial coaching and support to people in marginalized communities and help them buy their first house.
Right. Housing.
Yeah. And that way, provide financial coaching and support to, and if you're, what city are you in?
I'm in Las Vegas.
All right. And I would actually, and if you're in a certain city, I would not normally limit it to a city unless you're in a big city. I would say county. And that way you get some city people and some county people.
Yeah, it's Clark County.
All right. Yep. Provide financial coaching and support to the residents of Clark County, help them buy their first house. And that way, each element of your mission statement can be funded. You can get funding for the coaching, you can get funded for support. And the difference between that is if you what coaching is when you're telling people to do something. So the coach stands on the sideline and tells the team member, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. All right. So when you're telling people do this, do this, do that, and you're showing them how to do it, that's coaching. You're not doing it for them. So you get money for the coaching. Then you also request money for the support. Maybe you want somebody to check in with the people 3 times a week, or maybe you want to do classes on Saturdays. You know, you take this 6-week class, and then at the end you get down payment assistance. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That would be support. And then preparing them for home ownership, you can just raise money specifically for down payment support, so that anybody who comes through your 6-week program, they get a grant that you have received from a funding source. You're able to give them
Pay
money.
for their clothes, pay for their closing costs.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so that's how you take one mission statement and you get the pieces of the mission statement funded. But if you don't have a mission statement, there's no foundation for anybody to fund.
Right.
And there's also no foundation to build your programs on. So if I was working with Charlize here, then what I would do is that would be the mission statement. And then we design a coaching program, and we design a support program, and then we design a home ownership program. And we ask for money for each one of the things. All right. Okay. All right. And while you're here, Charlize, what questions do you have? Somebody else might have a similar question.
Basically, how to structure the grant in a way where it's not too long, but not too short, but straight to the point, and also to make it unique. That it tailors to not only community's need, but they also see it as an urgent need in the community.
Okay. All right. All right. So when you're writing the grant, if you are not a very experienced grant writer, don't worry about making it unique. The most important thing You want to worry about answering the questions. So the grant is going to be the grant application is going to be a series of questions. And what you want to do is make sure that you answer the question. The best way to do it, and it's not going to sound right, but I'm telling you, this is exactly what I do. The best way to do it is don't try to sound smart. Don't try to use your best English. Don't try to use your best grammar. Don't try to write a fancy paper at all. The best thing to do is just get your ideas out.
Right.
All right.
Because you were taught to make a rough draft and
Yeah.
then come back and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then my other question would be, how do we find those type of grants?
All right. So the way that you find those grants, there are a few quick ways. I'll show you one. You type in the name of your city and the word foundation, and well, the name of your city and community foundation, and that's going to pull up your local community foundation. But you also can search. Matter of fact, I'll show you all real quick because well, I just can't believe time flies so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't even got to. It's all right. Somebody might have to leave, but I'll be here. And the people who need to leave, you should probably go ahead and leave because we just getting started. All right. So so here we are, Las Vegas Community
Mm-hmm.
Foundation grants. So that's where some grants are. All right. See the Las Vegas grants right here. Grants,
Yeah.
grants. But let me show you what else you can do. Um, Give me the name of a grocery store out there.
We got Smith's, we got Albertsons.
All right. Here's their grants. Albertsons.
Wow.
Give me the name of you said Smith's.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. All right. Let's see the name of First Citizen Bank. All right. And there's First Citizen Bank grants. All right. What other bank is there?
I mean,
Bank
they
of
got Bank of America, they got American First Credit Union,
yeah.
Navy Federal was out here.
Every bank, every bank in America is required to give money back.
Mm.
All right. This is the Community
Navy Federal's
Reinvestment
out
Act.
here too, yeah.
They're required to give money back. Now, they can choose how they give it back to the community, but they're all required to give money back to the community. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever you are, you can type in the name of your city and the word community foundation and come up with grants. Type in the grocery store, the banks, all of it, and just type in grants, and you'll be able to find grants. In fact, there's a class that I teach called 100 Grants in 100 Minutes, how to search and find grants. All right. Okay. Well, Charlicia, I'm going to go on to the next part of the lesson. Thank you for letting me pull you up.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure. Peace and blessings.
All right. So let's go on. So we've talked about your mission statement. Your mission statement needs to be 15 words or less. If you don't know how to shrink it down, don't worry about that. You can use ChatGPT to help shrink it down. You just tell it, these are the three things I do. Can you take these three words and make it a mission statement for me? All right. Okay. The next thing that we want to show you how to do is how to connect with your city. All right. So connecting with your city is very important. There are grants that come from your city, and there are other grants that are in the city that don't come from your city itself. So your city is a governmental entity. They have grants that they give back. Some of those grants come from taxpayer dollars that they're giving back, and some of those grants come from the federal government and they're giving them out in the city. That's called a federal pass-through. All right. Your community development office has both of those types of grants available, and they become your contact. So if you want, you could right now pull up your city's community economic development office and send them an email and just ask them, can you tell me about any of your available or upcoming grants? You want to ask for the available grants because that tells you what they have right now. Upcoming grants because they're going to tell you what also is coming up in the near future. And the people that are on staff, they want to tell you about those grants. All right. They want to tell you. You're not bothering them. You're not sneaking and doing anything. It's not under the table or any of that. You're just asking them to give you information that's available to everybody anyway. All right. There's so many times. So like the city gave me a building. I had to have a foot surgery one summer. Had to have a foot surgery. And so while I was sitting at home, recovering from foot surgery, I got an email that the city had a building that was available. All right. And the city had the building available, and they were asking if anybody wanted to use the building, if anybody had a reason or a purpose for the building. And so I submitted a proposal, and the city ended up giving me the building for $1. Now, they gave me the building for $1, but the rest of the cost of the building, they wrote it off as a grant. All right. And they did it because I identified the city problem and just talked to them about how we could solve their problem. And so they gave me the building for $1. It didn't happen because of any other reason except I written a proposal that would showed them how I would help solve their problem. And so anybody that wanted to look at it, you can look at it there, but I'll go on. All right. So you want to connect with your city and they'll tell you what's available. All right. They'll tell you what's available. Not only will they tell you what's available, but they'll also let you know what help is there in the city so that you can get what's available to you. All right. And if you were doing this for your city, that's fine. But all the cities around the country are set up the same way. So you can actually connect with people in other cities and show them how to do it as well. All right. So you would email your community development office and just ask them about any available or upcoming grants. If they have workshops and if they offer technical assistance, show up for the workshops. What that's going to do, because you have to sign in, that's going to show them that you're serious. Also, they will help you prepare applications beforehand. They won't do it for you, but they'll give you guidance. They'll tell you what things are likely to be funded. So you don't have to hold back. You can ask them anything because it's their job to help you. All right. Now, I wrote a book. I wrote a book um, called The 5 Levels of Spiritual Activity. And there are a lot of people that do work for their cities, like in their neighborhoods, in their counties, etc. And they don't realize that when they're doing this work, they feel pressure. You know what I mean? They'll feel stress. Sometimes people call it PTSD. Sometimes people that are spiritual, they call it spirits and things like that. And that's fine. Whatever you call it, it is what it is. But anytime that you're trying to help a city move forward, anytime that you're trying to solve a problem for a city, you have to know that everybody is not going to be happy about that. It don't mean you need to stop. It just means everybody's not happy about that. But what you have to do is continue to do the thing that you know is the right thing to do. Even though it might look like it's difficult. All right. Even though it looks like, the answer is not available, or it looks like it's not going to be very easy, you still have to do it. All right. You still have to do it because that's what you're driven to do. That's what you're called to do. It's what you're purposed to do. And there's money available for you. The city itself is changing and everybody doesn't see it. All right. The city is changing and everybody doesn't see it, but you see what's going on. So you have to use your creativity to think, what is about to happen in our city and what can I write on paper that requests money today for what I know is going to happen tomorrow? I'll say it again. What can I write on paper that requests money today for what I see is going to happen tomorrow? I'll give you an example. If you see that crime has increased in your city, then you know that something is about to happen to the young people. What might be about to happen to the young people if crime has increased in a city? If you see more gang violence in a city, how is that going to affect young people? And so you would write a program description based on what you can do for young people in that city. And that's how you provide the solution. All right. Now I'm going to give you another example. Yeah, they're going to be locked up. There might be murders. Oh, my book is called this book is Spiritual History and Mapping. Spiritual History and Mapping. As a matter of fact, while y'all are here, now I'll show you that later. I'll show you that later. All right, let me take some questions right now before I give you the shortcut. We already went through what a grant is. We went through what a mission statement is. And then I'm going to give y'all the shortcuts. If y'all ready for the shortcut? All right. Let me take some questions. Let me see how many people we have here. Ooh. All right. Yeah, you can raise your hands and Mark will call on you. Raise your hands if you have a question and Mark will call on you. All right.
Okay, sir, we can start with Flary, then Antoinette, Sean, and then Megan.
Okay.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So you're talking about the mission statement. Our mission statement is so long because we do so much. But my main question is it important to cut it down in applying for the grants? Because I noticed some things we win, some things we don't. I'm fairly new to writing grants, but you know how they have the blocks that say 2,000 words. It's almost like, how do I condense that to fit exactly what they want? Should it be
Yes.
just Chat GPT? Because I feel like that's not, giving it that personal touch to it.
You should use ChatGPT just as a helper. Don't
Mm-hmm.
depend on it. Don't depend on it because it will sound computerized. And those of us who read grants, we know that it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a software called Zero GPT that foundations are using to kick out applications that are written by ChatGPT.
Okay.
Professors are using it in college too, because they really want to hear from you. So you use it as a help. Don't totally depend on it. So a mission statement really, really, really is supposed to be 15 words or less.
Okay.
When a mission statement is not 15 words or less, then we know that somebody don't know what they're doing. And so what you want to do is work to condense it down. You can always have an extra paragraph, like 2 or 3 sentences, that's an add-on that
Mm-hmm.
if you have space, you can put it in there. But most of the time, they don't give you 2,000 words or 2,000 characters. I've seen it as much as 10, well, they've said 100 characters or less. I've seen some that say 10 words or less.
Yes, those blocks when they ask you like,
Yeah.
what is your
Yeah.
mission or what do you plan to do with the funds? And then it gives you like 2,000 characters,
Right.
but it's almost like if I'm trying to get everything funded,
And
I
that would
can't
be it.
fit it.
That's a mistake. That's a
Okay.
mistake. That's a mistake. So you never want to try to get everything funded. You want to think, what does this funding source pay for? What do I need? And out of the the four things that I need,
Mhm.
which one is this funding source likely to pay for?
Okay.
So I when you look at a budget, your budget might have 10 different lines. Budgets might actually have 100 different lines. You
Mhm.
want to ask, which line item can I get funded from which partner? So one of the grants that I have right now is a grant from the county. That grant is for $70,000.
Okay.
We had 3 categories. One was personnel, one was supplies, one was the youth program.
Mhm.
As we were going along through the year, we saw that we had a different need. And the county said, well, if you realize your needs are different, just ask for a budget modification.
Oh.
Because we had money that we didn't expect from one source. And so now they allow us to spend money in different categories. But when we wrote the grant,
Mhm.
we just asked for money to be spent in 3 different ways: personnel, supplies, and the youth.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All
Thank you
right.
so much.
No
Thank you.
problem. Next, Antoinette.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good evening, and thank you so much for the information. Just following up on what you just said, how do you budget and communicate what your budget is? Because one we were looking at recently, it says you can't use the money for administrative purposes.
Mhm.
And so it's a little confusing because we want to put everything in there in terms of the salaries for myself and who will be working with me, as well as the different administrative costs. But
Right.
how do you work that out and present it in such a way that you can get the funding that you need?
All right. So, and I'm glad you spoke up that way, because you should never, unless it is a 100% grant, and most of the time I've only seen federal grants be 100%. When I say 100%, I mean they want to be the only funding source. Most grants, they want you to have multiple funding sources. So if your program budget is $100,000, most grants will not give you the whole 100. They want to give you 25 to 40%, and they expect you to get the other funds from other sources. This is
Oh, I
why
see.
you never, ever, ever want to go after one grant alone. You always want to go after at least 10 at a time. Always. Always, always, always. Anytime, matter of fact, anytime that I hear somebody say, I need a grant, I know that they are new and they don't really know, because there's no agency that just needs one grant. All right.
So,
So to the other part of your question, how do you get the expenses covered? All right.
yes.
How do you get the expenses covered? If you are, tell me what type of thing you do, what type of thing you need funded, what type of program it is.
Okay, well, it wasn't for me. It was someone who I know, and they are interested in providing consultancy for persons um, who are going to the doctor, and they need that support. Sometimes
Okay.
you go to
All
the
right.
doctor and you don't
I know
understand what
exactly
the
what that
doctor
is.
is saying.
I
Yes.
know exactly what it is. That actually, and there's a people used to call it a companion. Some people have called
Yes.
it support, but there's a new category that is coming out. It is research, evidence-based practices research. It's called community health worker, and they're allowing people from the community, people that you know, like, and trust, people that are comfortable with you. Could be an elder, could be a friend, could be a partner, could be anybody, to go to the doctor with you, and that person going with you is a grant funded activity.
Oh.
So this is what you do: a budget is actually broken up into 3 sections. You have your revenue, and we're not talking about revenue. Then you have your program expenses, and then you have your administrative expenses. The staff that provide the direct support, that is not considered administrative. That is considered program.
Oh, okay.
So all of the staff that directly touch, that are directly connected with delivering the service, that is a direct expense. And you want your direct expenses to make up the bulk of your budget. And when those funding sources are saying, we do not cover administrative expenses, what they're in essence saying is, we do not want you to spend our money on rent. We want you to spend our money on the supplies that go directly to the people. Spend it on the personnel that are working directly with the people. Spend it
I
on
see.
the things that are going to be used directly with the people. These are not only called program expenses, these are also called direct expenses. Okay?
Okay.
And that's how you get that funded. Thank you so much for asking.
Thank you so much.
All right. Next question.
Yeah, mine is kind of dealing with expenses and budgeting reporting as well.
All
So
right.
like when it comes to like the IRS or like any of the grantors, will
Mhm.
they ever like want an itemized budget? Like saying, hey, you spent 700 on computer, 300 on the printer, or is it just lumped together and say we spent 3,000 on office supplies?
When you're operating a nonprofit, the tax document, like, individuals, they do like 1040s at the end of the year, right? Well, the nonprofit has a document called the 990. That is the tax return for a nonprofit. They do not ask for that level of detail, but they do ask how much money you spent on the different parts of your program. Now, your bookkeeping along the year, all throughout the year, should include copies of receipts. Because in my example, for example, if you get a grant from county government or city government or even federal government, they're going to reimburse you based on the receipt, the proof of purchase. So you're not really trying to hide anything. You just want to make sure that you categorize it well. And one of the quickest ways to do that is just use QuickBooks and use the mobile feature so that when you get the receipt, you can snap it. And if you have a bookkeeper on staff or on retainer, you can do that as well. But they don't necessarily care that it's $500 for the printer, $300 for the computer, but it is important for your records that you know how much you spent on printers so that you can know how much you're going to need for printers next year, how much you spent on computers, because it's standard to replace computers every 2 years.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, no problem. All right, Mark, who's next?
Megan, sir.
All right, Megan.
Yay, hi. How are you?
Good, good.
You know me and my I feel like it's the same old questions. But I'm still back at my UBI program, right? The Universal Basic Income. I keep getting my SF 424 form kicked back to me telling me so
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about it. Like I've gone over it like 3 times now. It's still wrong, I guess. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but
Mhm.
there a way, is there a community person that helps people with that, like the small business development people, or who helps you with that besides you?
Actually, so federal grants are their own monster, and that's why I only do federal grants with certain people.
Okay.
The SF 424, the thing that she's asking about is the budget document for federal grants. So all federal grants they're gonna require that you fill out a form called the SF 424. And when you are uploading the SF 424, it can take the longest it took me, now it doesn't take me that long anymore, but the longest it took me was 10 hours to upload into the SF 424. So you want to make sure that your numbers balance out. It should give you error messages wherever it is that you are.
It is. It's all red.
Yeah. So the nonprofit, each one of your states has what's called a Center for Nonprofits. So if you were to Google your state, and I know that you're out west somewhere, what state is it?
I'm in California. I'm in a population of 2,500 town, so there's nothing here. Hence why I'm doing.
You're not gonna ask at the city or the county level. You're gonna look at the state level.
Oh, okay, perfect.
California Center for Nonprofits.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then just I had one more other question. Is there such thing as universal basic income programs and IDAs being funded by foundations? Because should I go that route? Because I'm a bit late for the federal funding now. Now that I can't get my form in correctly.
Universal basic incomes, that is more creative and new phenomenon. And so when things are brand new, there's still a way to get them funded, but IDAs are normal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to start with lower hanging fruit, you can start with IDA and then expand it into the UBI.
Okay, yeah, because I have the UBI, and then it's a mandatory savings of $100 per month, and then matched by the bank. And I got the bank on board. It's like I have everything in place. I don't have the actual big funding.
Well, go after. Don't only wait for the federal government. I know that you have a large budget to cover, but there are foundations that are willing to do it as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm start looking that way. Thank you.
Sure thing. All right. Any other questions? All right. There was one. What was that?
Me, can I ask again?
Yes.
Okay. How do I get a building?
Oh, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can now.
How do we go about getting a building? Because right now we're going like to schools, and we rent a space at a community center, but we would like to get our own dedicated building.
All right. So this is both for you and for anybody. If you want a building, there are a few ways that you can get a building. All right. Anybody else in here need a building? All right. So I'll go through it. So if you want to, if you need a building, you can get a building in a few different ways. One way is a capital campaign. A capital campaign, you'll be going after capital grants, and these grants will give you money to purchase a building, to build a building, or to renovate a building. That's called a capital grant, and these are the requirements for those grants. You must be a nonprofit for between 2 and 5 years. There are some organizations that will give it to you. They have a 2-year requirement. There are other organizations that have a 5-year requirement. All right. So they go by the age. Then the capital grant funding source is only typically willing to give you up to 25% of the building of the cost. So they're expecting you to ask a lot of different people for money. So you're not going to just ask one entity for money. It is unusual for the city to give me a building, but I'll show you how to do that just in case you want to go that route. And I showed that same thing to somebody, and they got a building that was much bigger than mine. They're building $1.3 million, but the city signed it over to them. So the capital campaign, you have to be have your 501c3 for 2 years. Some people have a 5-year minimum. The funding source is going to expect you to be actively raising money. Some of them even expect you to have raised or have pledged 60% of the money. All right. And they're going to expect you to demonstrate a community benefit. So the nonprofit would be the owner. The nonprofit would be the owner, and you have to describe how this thing is going to benefit the community. They don't really care about it benefiting you. They want to know how you having this building is going to benefit the community. For example, the city of Philadelphia gave a city block to the Youth Build program. They gave it to them, I think for $1 or for free, and they own it. And what the Youth Build program does, they work on the houses and then they rent them out, and then they provide maintenance for them, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So I'll go over those requirements again for a capital grant. Number one, You have to be have your 501c3 for 2 years. Some of them have a 5-year minimum. Number 2, they want you to have raised or pledged at least 60% of the money. Each funding source is only going to offer you, is only willing to fund up to 20 to 25% of the cost of the building. And then the most important thing is you have to describe how this building is going to benefit the community. If you look at my proposal, at the link that I gave you all, look down at the bottom, you'll see how how we proposed that my building was going to help the community. That's a capital grant. Now, there's another way that you can get a building. You can contact the city's Community Economic Development Office and ask them, or the Property Management Office of the city. All cities own real estate. Ask them for a list of their available city-owned properties. And then you set up a meeting with one of your council members and you just ask them. I mean, I know people don't believe me and most people are not going to do it, but you set up a meeting with that council member and you just ask. Tell them what you want to do for the community. Ask them if the city would be willing to give you a building to do this thing that you're trying to do for the community. It happens all the time. All right. And I think that was the last question. All right. So now, when you're building your budget, let's talk about how you build your budget. You build your budget in 3 sections. Number 1 is revenue. All right. You build, yes, it applies to group homes. You'll talk to city council. Every city has a property management, a real estate department, because of the city-owned properties. All right, so let's go on to budgets. If you are working on a budget, your budget has 3 sections. One section is called personnel. One section is called revenue. And that's grants, sponsorships, donations, in kind, and fees. All right. Grants, sponsorships, donations, in kind, and fees. Then the next section of your budget is direct services. Now, when you're building your budget based on the whole year. So what you want to do is think about the year as a whole. How much do you need of a certain thing for a whole year? And this is where you go window shopping. There's one organization that gives away cars. All right. They give away cars. And when they give away the cars, they're giving it to people that are in local programs, sometimes people that are in domestic violence shelters and different things, or youth that are aging out of foster care. They give away cars. So their budget includes things like supplies for the cars, equipment for the cars, parts for the cars, staff, that's personnel, like all of the things that you need to do the work of your organization. You put that in your direct expenses. Direct expenses includes personnel. That's all your direct care staff. That includes all of the things that you give people. If you're giving them food, diapers, if you're paying their electric bill, if you're buying them work boots and belts, if you're buying workbooks, whatever it is that you're buying, all of that is direct expenses. And then your overhead is things like rent, legal, accounting, trainings, that kind of thing. All right. Let me see if I can show you all a budget. All right. Can y'all see this? All right. So this is the grant budget that was submitted. This is proposed budget. We were requesting $70,000. So yeah, personnel, training, travel, supplies, meetings, equipment, printing, licensing, memberships, dues, subscriptions, client support, contracts, professional services, insurance, vendor space, business classes, building maintenance, Black History Awards, anniversary, Black Wall Street Junior Grind Fest, other, etc. All right. So that's an actual budget that was submitted with the grant. Out of all the things that we were doing, we only asked them for 70,000. And these were the three categories: personnel, supplies, and a youth program. All right. So when you're constructing your budget, you actually are just doing window shopping. All right. When you're constructing your budget, you're doing window shopping. You don't have to worry about how much things cost. Okay. Because you're just doing window shopping. The third section of budget is the overhead. The overhead is the administrative pieces. That's the administrative pieces. The administrative pieces are rent, legal, accounting, etc. All right. So sometimes people don't know how much to budget for a thing because you're working on your budget ahead of time. So if you know that you're planning for the future, you're planning for next year, and you are in, let's say you're in Indiana, you want to know the rates for Indiana. This is telling you the rates so that when you're planning for the daily lodging rates, this is how much you should spend on a hotel in Indianapolis, $127 a night, depending on what month you want to go. All right. Then you have a budget for meals and incidentals in Indianapolis, $60 for meals and incidentals. That's per day. That's how you budget it. All right. And it goes through the per diem. I mean, the GSA rate is the standard rate that the government approves. All right. So if you don't know what to charge for something, because like flights and things change, go ahead and look at the GSA rate. It'll give you all of that ahead of time. All right. For everything else, you can use Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot. You just look up the price online. Like I have to buy tents for our event. And matter of fact, all of you are invited to our event. It's free. It's called Grind Fest. It's a celebration of Black business and entrepreneurship. Going to be in Asheville, May 24th, 25th, 26th. You all need to be there. All of y'all can come. I got a call from one of our funding sources today, said that they want to be there. And it's totally covered. It's totally covered by grants. So you'll be able to come, it's grants and sponsorships, actually. So you'll be able to come and see it in action. And we'll hang out all weekend. We got Harlem Nights on Friday night, casino night. And for those that party, we have a kickoff party with some female DJs. And then we got carnival rides, food trucks, roller coasters, all kind of stuff. Then a concert. Last year we had Waka Flocka and Big Boy. And we have a gospel thing on Sunday, more rides, more food, more bands. It's going to be amazing. Everybody's invited. Make sure you be there. All right. But let's move on to the pieces of the budget. The budget is very important. All right. You have your organizational budget, which is your whole budget for your whole company. But sometimes a grant application will ask for your program budget. When they ask for your program budget, they only want the stuff that's related to that program, okay? They only want the stuff that's related to that program. So if like think about Salvation Army, for example. Salvation Army is a big, huge agency, but they have a homeless shelter, a food program, a youth after school program, and all of that. So they have a budget for the homeless program, they have a budget for the food program, and they have a budget for the youth program. All right. All those are 3 different budgets, and they combine them to form the organizational budget. Now, what if I told you that out of all the things that I've showed you, all the long division, that we have a way that you can just do it all at once? Like I have a software. Let me pull it up for you. Like there's some people that are interested in grants, but they just don't have the time that they used to have. All right. Is that anybody out there? Like you do stuff for your community. You do stuff so that things could be better. Matter of fact, you're probably doing it out of your pocket right now. Is that anybody here? Yeah. If that's you, say me. You're doing it out of your pocket. You're doing it out of your pocket. Oh yeah, yeah. There's lots of for-profit grants. Matter of fact, I'll show you one in here. You're doing it out of your pocket, and after a while, you just get tired of doing it out of your pocket. You feeding the community out of your pocket, paying people's bills out of your pocket, all of that stuff. You're just doing it out of your pocket. All right. So this software is designed just to make it easier for you. You would go in. Let's say you wanted to write a grant. Like this one, for example, if you had a pet and this was given to pet welfare programs, these are the details of the grant right here. And this is the funding source. But sometimes people just don't know what to write. They don't know where to start. Like all this just gets them lost. You get what I'm saying? So I'll show you what we did. We just wrote the grant for you. That's it right there. That's it. Yeah, y'all don't believe me. All right. So let's count how long it takes for my system to write this. I'm gonna show you. We see it. You want to use this template? Click, and it's done. You just download and use it. So what we did with this software, my writers have gone through my database, and every day they're writing grants based on what's available, based on the people that are in our programs. And they write the grants and you get to use it. So you can use a grant It's already written. It's just, you click and it's done. And from there, you just download it. So then what if somebody had asked, well, what if you need to reach out to a city council member? You don't know what to say. Well, here's what to say. And it actually makes it look formal for you. Well, what if somebody just does not have their 501c3? Or if you were a person that was doing this as a business for somebody. You could do that too. So the software is actually like taking my brain and my team and having it in a computer. Just at the push of a button. All right. So this is 10:30. I'm gonna have to cut off here. Let's think about this. So what types of programs do y'all have? Does the software support all grants? Oh, you know what? Let me show y'all some other grants. I keep thinking about one more thing. All right. Somebody asked me about for-profit grants, right? All right. So all these are for-profit grants. Yeah. All these are for-profit grants. You just go and type in for-profit. But let's see if you wanted for-profit grants that were already written for you. Here's one, Velocity Credit Union. Click, and it's done. All right. Wish Local, for-profit grant, done. These are all for-profit grants that are done. They're already done. So if you want all the grants, whether they're written for you or not, then just keep it general. But if you want for-profit grants that are already done for you, you just click with templates. Yeah. All right. Let me see what other question we have. Is that the same as ChatGPT? No, this is not the same as ChatGPT. This is actually written by me and my writers. So what these folks have, what anybody that has a software, you have a database of things that have already been written. Oh, Shelley Gates asked the question, how do I search for grants in Grant Suite for churches or faith-based organizations? Thank you. Please do not look for grants for churches or faith-based organizations. Do not do that. I just need to write the book. I just need to write the book. That's what I need to do. Do not look for grants for faith-based organizations or churches. If you find one, it's going to be so super competitive that it's not worth going after. All right. Do not do that. What you need to do is list out your activities, separate your community activities from your faith-based activities, okay? So your community activities is your after-school program. What was your vacation Bible school is probably a summer camp. Your music program, your arts program, your speech program, the way that you take care of the seniors, checking on them, your food program. If you just look at the things that your church spent money on, how much of it was a community function? As in, you would do it for anybody. If you're feeding the hungry, that's a community. If you have an extra building and you're housing the homeless, that's a community program. If you have musicians, and when they're not in church service, the musicians are showing other people how to do music, that's an arts program. Do you get what I'm saying? Separate your community activities from your church activities. All right. There are even churches that do not, they do not try to buy or purchase new churches. They buy or build a community center and just let the church rent from the nonprofit. There are people that do that because they figured out that if my building can be used for the community, then the community can take care of my building. All right. In order to do that, you must have a non-discrimination policy in place. It doesn't mean that you have to license or ordain people that are not of your faith. It doesn't mean that you have to accept people as members. It has nothing to do with that. It just means if you have food to give people, are you only going to give it to some people, or would you be willing to give it to everybody? All right. So if you are a church, I'm going to write the book. If y'all hold me to it, I'm going to write the book. I already have it designed and everything. It's called Godly Grants, grants for organizations, or for operations, development, leadership, and youth. Because I mean, I have a church background, and grants are available for churches, but you will not find them looking for grants for churches. All right. And now is the best time to start, because during the summer months, you got conventions going on, and people don't know half of your convention can be paid for with sponsorships and grants during the daytime session. Not during the worship session, but during the information sharing, during the chat sessions, the seminars, the workshops, all of those things about womanhood, manhood, youthhood, adulthood. All of those are grant fundable activities, and people don't even know it. And summer months are when church finances go down. All right. All right, let's look at. All right, let's look at I just showed you the for-profit grants. I just showed you some for-profit grants, but there are lots of others. So if you were in the software, you just type in for-profit, and it'll show you for-profit grants. If you want the system to write the grants for you, just click the one with templates. So no, this is not ChatGPT, but what we are doing with the software, and it's going to be so dope. We are supercharging our software with AI, so that, you know how I told you to research your city's plan, your county's plan. Y'all remember? Say yes if you remember how I told you to do that. You remember that I told you to do that? Say yes. Yeah. So what we did, we took ChatGPT and we said, well, what if our system could read it for you and then just tell you what to focus on? That's what we're doing next. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Yep. That's what we're doing. We got with the developers and said, well, what are the key things that are needed for the grants that'll make it super easy for people? We set it up so that you won't even have to read your city's plan or your county's plan. ChatGPT will just go and research it for you, and then it'll tell you what to focus on. We're making this as simple as possible, as easy as possible, because we know that there are a lot of people that don't have the history in grants. And so it might be hard for you to read. For somebody, it hasn't been hard for you to read. Like, it's just hard to read a lot. And then if you read a lot, you get lost in it and everything like that. Well, we're making it a lot simpler for you. All right. Why are they not allowing AI when they made it to be used? Well, some people are fighting it. I don't know why people are fighting it. AI is great. It's going to speed everything up, and I think this is the perfect time for you to get in and do the thing that you wanted to do anyway. You get what I'm saying? You needed it anyway. You needed it anyway. And everybody was going to get on the bandwagon anyway, so you might as well jump on it. You get what I'm saying? You might as well jump on it. So if there were people, and I'm running out of time, I have to go and get on this machine. But if there were people that wanted to work together, hold on. What other questions did you all have before I go? And y'all don't let me go without making you an offer. Um, there are some people that just want to play around with it, and that's fine. If you just came to kind of hang out, that's cool. That's cool. But if there were people that were really thinking about accessing more grant funding, and if you wanted to work more closely with me, or you wanted me to help you out with anything, don't let me leave without making you an offer. But there might be some other questions that I can answer for folks real quick. Can we take outside grants and upload them into Grant Suite? You cannot take outside grants and upload them into Grant Suite, but you can send my team grants and we will write them and put them into Grant Suite. You can do that. All right. How do you access Grant Suite? All right. You would have to, I guess you're asking me to make you the offer. Can we take outside grants and upload them? You would send us the grant and we would upload it. All right. Can you put the link? All right. So now let's review. Matter of fact, let me show you a grant right now. You have the software. It is awesome. Yeah. I want to show you a grant right now. This one that's coming up. Coming up available. I keep saying I'm gonna stop and I don't stop. I'm really gonna stop because y'all going let's look at this grant, for example. Matter of fact, I don't want to show you the template. This is what I want to show you because some people so this organization is ready to give. You just have to submit the request. All right. You just have to submit the request. Let's look at this one. So they give grants for any reason at all. Any reason. $5,000 to $10,000, but their deadline is April 30th. Deadline April 30th, and they'll let you know by July. But if you don't apply at all, you have no chance on getting it. All right. Now, if you wanted for-profit grants, or if you wanted nonprofit grants, your speed is the thing that's going to make the difference. All right. Once you get one grant written the right way, all you have to do is copy and paste, and then you tweak it to meet that other funding source. All right. That's all you do. That's all you do. So now, I mean, we are, let me see, what other question do we have here? Oh yeah, retire won the grant for $5,000. Okay, Retanya won the grant. I don't know. She can speak up. Apostle Retanya, you want to say anything?
Okay, yeah, we were on mute at first. Hey, everybody, how you doing, Coach?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't want you to stay on here too long. I know you got to get on the machine.
Yeah, I got to go.
But yeah, I just been seeing the questions for everybody about their grant suite. You guys, it's worth every penny, every dollar, every dime that you spend. I do have the grant suite, and I did win the last year December, right at the end of December when we were crossing over into 2024. They emailed me and told me that I got the grant for the Looking Out grant, which is a national grant for $5,000. So it's worth it. It's very, very easy to fill out the templates. You just everything is pre-filled, and it's really plug and play after you enter in all your information. So I think it's definitely worth the investment. Coach goes above and beyond with that software. It's really amazing. You guys definitely get on whatever he's asking for, pay it, because listen, you won't regret it. Like you will not regret it at all.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you spoke up. And I mean, there's some people that are brand new to it. And so they get uncomfortable. And so what we're trying to do is just make it simple and easy. And of course, you'll be able to come every Tuesday. We're here meeting every Tuesday at noon. We meet and we talk about it. All right. So if you have any problems, any questions, any issues, we solve those problems together live with me every Tuesday. And then you have the community. If you wanted to be part of the community where you can connect with other people for collaboration, networking, and even for partnerships with grants. All right. Let me see. Two other questions. On the grant calendar, it shows banks the month of February. Is that the ideal time, or can we submit throughout the year? All right. On the grants calendar, you have when I say banks in February, that's just when they open their portals. Now, some banks have like they have year-round, they're open year-round. All right. For those banks that are open year-round, it'll say they have rolling applications. But most of the time, for most of them, they open their portals in February. The other thing about banks like Bank of America, they have two cycles. They have one at the beginning of the year and one at the middle of the year. Then there are some banks that only open their grant portal for 30 or 45 days. What I've given you with the grant calendar is my understanding after doing this for about 20 years, I've noticed this pattern and this schedule that they're following. All right. So if anybody wants to, if you were hiring a grant writer, then you would pay that grant writer somewhere between $3,500 and $5,000 per grant. But this software has thousands of grants in it, at least about 500 that are already written. So of course you're not trying to pay no $100,000. That's not what you have to pay for this. We intended to make it super simple and easy for you, and you don't have to pay a grant writer. So if you were writing like 12 grants for the year, or if you were hiring a grant writer for the year, that'd be like 60,000, and you don't have to pay $60,000. This is not my $20,000 program or anything like that. This is not that. You're just starting out. You're just getting comfortable. What is it that you can do to help start getting some money in at your level? What makes it easier for you? Well, what we actually have done is packaged it all up. So you'll get this recording, of course, and you'll get, especially if anybody wanted the money for your missions program. I talk about how churches can get money for grants, but you'll get the grant suite software, and you'll get the school community, and you'll get the training on how to start and set up a nonprofit. Because if you're just now starting out, you might need to go through some technicalities. You might need to see the screens and go step by step through it. So if that was what you were interested in, and you wanted to get started, you can do that. Mark will put the link in the chat, and you'll get the software. The software, we charge $197 per month for the software, but I don't know, maybe we can just do it for 10 people. I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. I probably can. If anybody just wanted the software, no, I probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, because I mess up stuff. Yes, you have to. If somebody's DM me, you'll DM me on Facebook Messenger. All right. When I first did the software, I gave my students a ridiculous, crazy discount. Um, uh, uh, uh. It's okay. I feel like doing it. It's only a few of y'all here. I'm only going to do it for 10 people. So if you were here and you yeah, so Mark is going to have to fix this. If you want this software, you don't have to pay the 197 per month, which ends up being like 2,400 for the year. We'll just do it for $1,000. But if you wanted it, you'll have it for a year. You'll have it for a year. So for 1,000, you'll get, and I mean, I can say 997, but it's 1,000. I mean, I probably that's breaking all the rules. I shouldn't say it like that. But you don't have to play games. It's not really that serious. If you wanted it, no, serious, because $1,000 is a lot of money. And if you're going to do it, you should be proud that you're doing it. All right. You should be proud that you're doing it. And you should know that you're doing this so that you can move forward. Now, I'm only doing it. I'm only making 10 of them available. And Mark, I mean it. Only 10. Only 10. Only 10. All right. Only 10. All right. All right. Just 10. And you'll get the software and you'll get the trainings. Okay. The recorded training on how to start and run your nonprofit. All right. 1 year access. Yes. That's correct. All right. So Mark's going to have to create the link. So what you need to do is give me your email. I don't know how he's going to create the link fast enough. I don't know how he's going to create the link fast enough because I just threw this on him. I'm sorry, Mark. I probably should have prepared you before now. Y'all give Mark a hand. I just be doing stuff. I just be doing stuff, and I just keep him up all night. Hey, Frida. Okay. We can probably talk on maybe tomorrow evening or Thursday. No. Yeah, tomorrow evening or Thursday. Yay. All right. As a matter of fact, anybody that gets this today, what if I also I did this before. This grant is it's really easy for me to write. Well, if we did threw in a grant for you, well, I'm just going crazy. All right. So that's it. For those 10 people, you'll move quickly. And there was one guest that was here. I don't know if he's still here. Oh, okay. Yeah. For everybody, we want you to join my community. Whether or not you have the software, we want you to join my community so that you can learn more, so you can ask as many questions as you want, so you can connect with more people. You can connect with Ratan, you can connect with Shelly. They can connect with you. Y'all can learn from each other. You can learn from me. All of my classes are there. You'll be able to learn on a regular basis. There's not going to be anything to stop you. And it's only like $1.50 a day. So that's not the software. Those software people are off DMing me right now. But anybody that wants me to help coach you on this grant journey, it's not very expensive. You just go ahead and click the link to join my community. You have to join. You have to join for yourself. Don't just sit by and think, well, I'll figure it out. That's a waste of time when there are deadlines popping up every day. Deadlines popping up every day, and you're missing opportunities. And you're already going to be spending money doing things anyway. You might as well invest in your learning, and it's something that you wanted to do anyway. All right. So I have a guest, somebody that talked to me and asked me about coming, and I don't know if he's still here. I don't know if he is still here. His name was Horace. Horace, are you here? No. Well, I guess he's gone. All right, y'all. Well, go
They're
ahead.
still here, sir.
No, Horace, he was an older gentleman. He had called me and I invited him. And so I wanted to make sure that I answered his question before he left.
He's there on camera.
Oh, oh, is he? I can't hear him.
He's muted.
He's waving.
Mr.
Oh.
Horace, you gotta unmute your mic.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm right here. I'm right here.
All right. All right. All right. Well, since you're here, let me help you with something.
Okay.
I'll help you, and then yeah, and that'll be it. All right. So, what question do you have? How can I help you? I know you're in Virginia. But let me see how many problems I can solve for you.
Okay, well, I want to be one of those 10. So what I need to do, I'm trying to, what I need to do to be one of the 10. You get
All
the
right.
software.
Did you message me? You have to message me on Facebook. Remember when we were talking, I told you to
Yeah,
send a
yeah,
message.
yeah.
Go to that same place and
Okay,
to Grant Suite.
okay.
Mm-hmm. And yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, okay. Uh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got you right there. So, okay, just write something.
Type in Grant Suite,
Okay.
and we're going to send you a link, and we'll bring you on. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, you have a church and you have an assisted living facility, right?
That's correct.
All right. So, does your church have anything to do with the assisted living? It doesn't matter if it does. I just need to know.
No, it does not.
All right. Tell me which one has the 501c3.
The church, and of course, I think I told you on the phone that because we were not using it, our CPA has deactivated it. But
Mhm.
he told me that as soon as we need it, he can reactivate it.
All right. All right. So we definitely want him to reactivate it. And for your church, the goal for you, Horace, would be that the only things that your tithe and offering pays for is your inherently religious activity. However, all of your outreach activity, anything you do for the young people, anything you do for the seniors, anything you do for homeless, anything you do for transitional home housing, anything you do feeding the hungry, all of that should come from grants and sponsorships. So sometimes churches have an annual conference or annual convention. Well, you might have nighttime services. Your nighttime services are religious in nature, but your daytime sessions, which are education, can be open to the whole community. You get it?
Absolutely.
So if it's open to the whole community, that means anybody can come. If you were feeding the hungry, you're going to put the tables out and feed everybody that walk up there. Well, what if all of that food could be donated from Food Lion, from Publix? So let me show you the Publix donation.
Okay.
All right. Publix. I like their food. if you need food, don't just go and buy food from the grocery store.
Coach, I think Mark has the link up for the offer.
Okay. If anybody wanted to offer, you can go ahead and click the link while I'm showing. And anybody that has a nonprofit can do this. You just go here, Horace, and you make the request.
Okay.
How to make a request.
And my wife is asking, how do you make that?
No, that's what.
Okay. I got it. Okay.
You click here.
I got it.
All
All
right.
right.
Now I'll tell you what we did at a church that I pastor. We had Vacation Bible School, and because we couldn't do inherently religious activity, we had violence in the community, so we called it a peace camp.
I like that.
And we taught violence prevention. One day we had the fire truck come. One day we had the police officers come. All right. And each day we had food. Now, normally, when people have Vacation Bible School, you either have the older ladies coming to cook, or you have hot dogs one night and sandwiches another night, et cetera, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But what we did, we had 5 days. One day we had Olive Garden. The other day we had Longhorn Steakhouse. Another day, another day we had another restaurant. Each day, the restaurants donated the food.
That's good. That's good.
And as our gifts and surprises, we had donations from the movie theater. So we had movie tickets to give away.
Wow.
Different things that did not have to come from the offering bucket.
That's good. That's good.
All right. So you just go here and you click on that link. Also, Horace, what you can do, there's a Costco on West Broad Street.
That's right.
You can take that same letter, go to Costco, and pick up a donation. This is it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, not only that, some people like Panera Bread. You can actually go to Panera Bread and just walk in there with a letter. But if you wanted them to give you a check, if you wanted to give them money, then you go to their website. These are just some of the things that you can do once you have your nonprofit in place, and if you just knew more about it. All right.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So-
my wife says she has a question.
Yes.
Is there some way you can get them to help pay for a musician?
Not, they would not pay for a church musician. They would not pay for that. What they would pay for is a music teacher.
A music teacher.
Okay.
And if you hire somebody to teach music, it doesn't matter to them that the person also shows up on Sunday.
I got you. I hear you. I hear you, Doc.
But if you do a community music program, then certainly you can get the money to hire, and you can do a whole community choir.
That sounds good.
Anything. Remember, a grant is money given to you for a community benefit that you don't have to pay back.
Okay.
Coach, you better bring that machine and hook it up in your house. Hook yourself up to that machine And just that way you could just go on, okay? I'll get you another, get you two. You got money now. Hey, it ain't like you scrapping and scripping. So it's another machine, one for the office and one for wherever, okay? Because I don't like this. You know, come on now.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
took us off mute. I was able to get in there. All right.
Y'all, that's Granny T. Gotta love her. Got to love Granny T.
And also, my wife wanted to ask, what's the other question?
How can a grant be used for an assisted living that's for profit?
Mhm. All right. So for-profit grants work different than nonprofit grants. For-profit grants are not so much based on the community plan and blah, blah, blah. The for-profit grant is based on the founder, whoever the owner is,
Mhm.
and what they have overcome in order to do the business, and then how the business is helping the community. So assisted living, are there people that are older or people that have disabilities or what?
Both. I mean, they're older and they have disability.
Okay, all right. So then you want to show that and for-profit grants are smaller. They're much, much smaller. They don't have as much writing. All right. You want to tell the story of the founder, whoever the owner is, and you want to show how this business is benefiting the community. You don't have to do it from like the county and the city plan, but you do have to show that this home, for example, people that are older and have disability, you're improving the quality of life for senior citizens that are living with disabilities. For-profit grants are also smaller. They're only like $5,000 or $10,000, but they're good. They're good money, and I can walk through one of those with y'all.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, all right. And your husband, he has my phone number, so
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right, all right,
So
y'all.
and telling us what's the free name of the free grant, or you don't know right now that you was gonna do, because we can apply ourselves the ones that have
I
disabilities.
I don't
know,
know
tell,
right now.
oh,
Uh, I
you
have
just
to
know.
see where these 10 people are to see what's available in their cities.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So that's it, everybody. I want to see you in the community. Make sure y'all join the school community. I'm gonna be putting some more kind of, I don't know what should I call them, like recipes, or no, I was thinking like step by steps. They're not like whole lessons. It's just do this, then do this, then do this. Because I know sometimes I get to talking, everybody don't feel like hearing all that talking. But I was like, what do I call this thing when you do like I call it step by steps. Do y'all like those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Procedure, yeah.
yeah.
And I bust in one more time. It's something I keep seeing, Coach, and it's called, they're telling you to do these pitches, grant pitches. Maybe we'll get to discuss it in the community, or is it a big deal? Should we not even pay attention to those kind? But
No,
it seems to be
pitches are pitches are for-profit grants. Pitches are for for-profit grants. So when you have a for-profit grant, they will oftentimes, and it's not all the time, but they'll oftentimes bring you to do a pitch, and they want you to record a 30-second pitch or a 2-minute pitch. And sometimes they'll say, in order to receive this grant, you have to be willing to be in our accelerator program. So the for-profit grants are like that. That just kind of comes with the territory. All right. All right. All right. Well, y'all think y'all have a good night. The micro lessons, I like that. All right. Now I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Yeah, excellent.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead and get hooked up, little rabbit.
Y'all pray for me.